Today marks International Mother Language Day, and this year's theme is fostering multilingualism for inclusion in education and society. The day aims to promote awareness and the importance of knowing and speaking your mother language. To discuss this further, we're joined by well-known storyteller Gcina Mhlophe from Gcinamasiko, Art, Heritage and Trust. Sawubona maninjani?
Yebo sawubona ngiphilile njani wena?
Ngiyaphila ma. I just wanted to discuss with you basically, first of all, the importance of knowing your mother language. I know a lot of people would say that they don't speak to their children in their mother tongue. A lot of people have started speaking to their children only in English because of education, etc. But how important is it to make sure that your child knows their mother tongue from an early age?
Ukuthi thina sikwazi ukukhuluma ilimi zethu salincelebeleni koma. That's why it's called mother tongue, because you speak the language that you suck from your mother's breast. And if our parents chose not to teach us or to speak to us in our mother tongues in order for us to do well in the future, to be carbon copies of white people or people of other nationalities, we wouldn't be where we are today. So it is a major challenge, and we need to go back to that honoring of our ancestry, of our languages. Our languages are part and parcel of our identity, of who we are. Imagine if the rivers stopped flowing and we would not be able to drink salt water. The same thing happens then with us stopping to speak our languages. The ocean, that is the wealth of our cultures and our heritage and our wisdoms, ancestral wisdoms, they will be far away out of reach because we've stopped the rivers that are the languages, our mother tongues. So South Africa, we are on the precipice of losing so much more than we can see in trying to say we want our children to do better. No matter how much you can try and fake to be like a person of another culture, you can only be a carbon copy. You can never be that person. So we have to go back to be the Africans that we were meant to be, to speak our languages. Sikhulume ilimi zethu zesintu ngokuyiqhenya sizazi ukuthi singobani.
And the theme for this year's commemoration of this day is very important, especially looking at education. The Education Department has said that they do have plans of giving children the option to choose which language they'll be educated in. How important is it that the Education Department fast-tracks this so that children don't have to, for instance, first worry about learning how to speak English before they can learn how to, for instance, do maths or other subjects at school?
The sad thing is that our freedom came with looking down on our mother tongues. So we wanted to be free and we want to be almost African. So that is the reality that we are facing today. We are reaping the fruits of looking down upon our languages in trying to fast-track our, I don't know, industrial revolution, whatever it's called, when we are trying to succeed. And we look at language as something that is not so important. And when you don't know your own language, the second language and the third language that you learn is going to be as shaky as you have not mastered your own mother tongue. You don't have a place to stand. We are almost like breeding a nation of air plants. Air plants, honestly, we need the ground to be connected. So if the Education Department is going back to celebrating our languages and putting the respect that they deserve, I'm grateful, but I'm insisting that parents and grandparents speak your mother tongues to your children. That doesn't call for any government to come into your house. Kuluma, huwa. That's it.
Exactly, and
speak
reading
your
as well.
Language in your home.
And how important is it for, reading books as well? Making sure that your child knows how to read in their mother tongue, not only speak it, but read the language for understanding.
It is extremely important that we lead by example. And if we see that our children are struggling, let's read with them and find ways of remembering. Because we come from a certain place as well, where we were not so confident. You know, this woman you're talking to was not so confident all those many years ago. But having to read and learn to pronounce certain words and understand the deeper meaning of those words made me feel confident, so that when I finally met people of other cultures and learned what they were doing, how they perceived life, I stood comfortably on the ground of knowing my sense of self-worth. So we are giving our children sense of self-worth when we speak to them and read together with them in our mother tongues. Many people say books are expensive. Many people say books in African languages are not available. Doesn't matter if it's a second-hand old textbook that was not read, that was not used for years, dusted up. The words that are written there are still in your mother tongue. Speak to your children and read together. And the time that we've had under this lockdown, we never asked for this COVID-19. Corona Indodembi has put us in such a difficult situation, but it has given us family time with loved ones. Let's use this time then to say education can continue to be the three-legged pot, to be the learner, the parent, the school, to the education department. So we need to do that. And I think the same applies to our languages. Let's not wait for the United Nations to say we declare this and declare. I hear that United Nations has declared this coming decade until 2032 as the decade of indigenous languages. We don't have to wait for the United Nations to tell us what to do. Let's love ourselves enough to honor where we come from.
Thank you so much. There's a lot of truth to what you just said. That's, of course, storyteller Gcina Mhlophe speaking to us.